Hey everybody, it's Greg from Nexus Property Management. We're here at Nexus's headquarters in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and I'm honored to have with me today Sebastian Nadales.
Thank you, Greg.
Of Nadales Roofing. And Sebastian, it's funny how we met. I remember it was about 4 years ago, and this building across the street was giving me trouble. The roof is leaking. I was trying to figure it out myself, and finally my wife said, Greg, just hire a professional.
Yeah.
And I said, they're gonna rake me over the coals, they're gonna charge me $1 million, whatever. And I ended up reaching out, and I think it was on HomeWise?
Home Advisor, yeah.
Home
yeah,
Advisor.
Yeah. They gave me your contact information. I think either I reached out to you, but you ended up texting me back a picture of the leaking, and it was like, wow, that was a lot of water coming into that apartment.
And you came out, I think it was the next day, with your dad, who I want you to talk about your dad. You guys ended up doing a portion of the roof, fixing the leak, and no problems, okay? Or actually there was. It leaked a little bit after you did it, you came back out, buttoned it up, which I was very happy about, the accountability, the loyalty, which is what I was afraid of. I thought roofers can't trust them.
No.
Tough trade. They're fly by night. You guys are completely different.
Oh yeah, we always try to guarantee our work,
So why don't you tell us a little bit about the business? Tell us about your dad, who started the business, right?
So, we are a renovation company. We mostly are called for roofing, but, we do a little bit of everything. I have carpenters, I have, we specialize in almost every kind of repair, construction.
Yep.
And, it was started by my father, and his name is Louis. You've met him before, obviously. And
shout out to Louis.
and, he's, I got into business with him maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I think. I can't remember exactly, but, he's taught me quite a bit since then, and now I'm trying to just keep the company going and make it easy for him.
Is he gonna retire?
Not for a long time.
He likes working, right?
Yeah, he's got to keep working.
So when did he start the business? Was it in the 90s, the 80s? Like when did he?
It was early 90s. He came to this country in the late 80s, and then he got into construction, started, before it was called GSD Roofing, and then, we changed it to Nadales Roofing, our last name, of course, and, it's been going on for, the experience is at least in the 30 years.
Wow.
So yeah.
And is there any other family members that work for the business?
Oh yeah. Almost everybody in my family does
Really?
construction. Yeah. I have my uncle that does the carpentry for us. He's kind of like our carpenter foreman.
Okay.
He makes sure the guys are doing everything correct.
Wow. And what's your least favorite part of the business? I know you have something that just totally grinds your gears. I do. Okay, it's dealing with the tenants at court. That's one of my least favorite things, is angry tenants.
Yeah. My least favorite, I would say, is honestly dealing with cold calls. Because as when we market, I have to call the customers, and sometimes a lot of people say, "Don't call me this late," or "No, I'm all set." And I'm obliged to call them because I'm paying for this marketing that we do.
Got it.
So, if I don't call, I'm not getting my money's worth. True. The Home Advisor is it's a love-hate relationship with that marketing, but it's, I've met a ton of awesome customers with it, and, I just gotta keep doing it.
So what about like you walked in before and I was on the phone with a client who is upset that their turnover, their apartment rent ready is gonna cost like $2,000 for us to paint and clean and get it ready. Yelling, screaming, that's exorbitant, you're raking me over the coals. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you deal with that too. So what's your strategy to help clients understand that you're going up 30 feet, 40 feet on their roof, demoing it, putting new plywood sometimes, sheathing, all this stuff. How do you convey to them that this is worth what you're charging?
I try to make it as understanding as possible, that, explain all the steps to the construction, to the new roof. The materials are expensive these days and not how they used to be. Mm-hmm. And I just pretty much try to explain like if you wanna go with this repair, it could not work, so you're gonna be spending say $400, $350 just for a patch job, which is probably a leak
Right.
in a few days, or not even work at all. And then you're calling me back saying like, hey, this is not working. Can I have my money back? And it's, I told you ahead of time. This is your best job is to do a brand new roof and make sure you have no leaks, and of course all the work is guaranteed.
So if somebody does have an issue after maybe you go and do a brand new roof, you'll come back out, check it out, make sure that
absolutely. Yeah. We always offer a 10-year warranty for replacements.
Cool.
Repair, we can only do sometimes 1 to 2 years.
Yep.
It's not gonna last forever.
Right.
And but I always call back, and I always make sure I show up and show my face to make sure you guys don't think I'm running away or not doing
Which
the job.
is like, honestly, growing up, my dad, he's a tradesman, he's a mason.
Okay.
And he would say that roofers are the toughest crowd because they charge you a lot and then they hit the road. But you are changing that reputation yourself here in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. I mean, the vehicle fleet that you now have, like I saw you on the highway yesterday, brand new Dodge ProMaster, to me that says a lot.
Okay.
Somebody that's investing in a vehicle and their equipment, they're making the right steps.
Yep, thank you, Greg. I'm trying to slowly become one of the better roofers in this area in Rhode Island, and a little bit of Massachusetts, but I'm working my way. I've only been doing this 6 years, so I still got a lot of time to.
So how many roofs are you doing in a normal week or a normal month?
Sometimes 2 to 3, sometimes 1. It's I do a lot more repairs. I always offer the repair option. Not everybody, not every customer that I meet needs a new roof. It's always sometimes like something easy to fix, or something common like a flashing on the chimney. So it's always there's always a few options. We always throw a few options to our customers.
And what is like the most typical culprit that you're dealing with? Like, is it the chimneys? Is it, when they have multiple shingle layers? Like, what's the biggest issue that you see? You go, oh, here we go again. Like, what's the common issue with roofs?
The common issue would be sometimes, I hate to say it, but handymen that come to, you hire a handyman to come do your whole roof, and the next thing you know, you got nails improperly placed, exposed to the rain, and then, you pay a handyman this much money, and then now you have to pay it twice for doing it over again, because it's like finding a nail and a needle in a haystack pretty much on your roof. Right? You know what I mean? You're not going to be caulking it the whole time. You gotta just do it over again pretty much.
So you're saying like if a handyman goes up there, pops a nail in a spot, it's impossible for you to go in the attic and trace, because people think, oh, go in the attic and find where the leak's coming from. It's not that simple, because it could be going down, moving over, hitting the shingle, going down, and coming out on a spot that's not where the leak is per se.
Exactly.
So you just say at that point, I'm sorry, but we got to do the whole roof.
Yeah. Hiring a handyman or a friend that says they know how to do roofing is not always advised. It's always good just to, hire a professional that's gonna do a good job, and you won't have to do it for another 30 years.
So you're good for a lifetime, pretty much, of a house.
Oh, for sure.
All right. Well, how about this? I was on the bicycle the other day it's right at the Connecticut-Rhode Island border, and there's this beautiful big house with stainless steel roof. Is that what it was?
Metal roof, maybe?
Metal roof.
Yeah.
What's up with those? Like, are those a fad? Are those a trend? Are they more effective than shingles or a rubber membrane? Like,
I would say they're very effective.
They're
probably 3 to 4 times more expensive, but they last forever. They're made out of, a lot of them are made of aluminum, and they're coated so they don't rust or anything like that. And it's a big process. It takes longer, but they do last forever. And I've noticed that in new constructions, people are using like half the main house to have asphalt, and then They do the front porches
Yeah.
with a little
Absolutely.
metal. It gives it a little more style to the house. So,
Yeah.
you know, people are kind of going with that. But if you go to New Hampshire or Vermont, where it snows like all the time,
Yep.
all the roofs are metal.
Wow. And have you ever done one, or have you done
Yeah,
some?
we've done a couple. You know, it's it definitely took 2 to 3 days versus like one whole day of working
Got it.
doing an asphalt roof. But yeah, they do take a long time to do, and you have to really watch what you're doing, because one mistake, it's like, you know, you have to drill it all out and find it.
So not to get too detailed into it, but like you're talking about your handyman going up there, popping a hole through. All of these, you know, aluminum sheets, I assume they are, have to be fastened down. So how are they fastened without creating an entry point for water?
Oh, the sheeting obviously is going to have a ice and water barrier. That's pretty much what separates the water from coming into the house.
Okay. Interesting. And what about, like, to folks at home that may be thinking, well, I have a rubber roof, or I have this, I think it's a rolled asphalt. It's like, what's the difference between the rubber roof, the rolled asphalt, compared to regular shingles?
So the roll asphalt is the cheaper option. Always the cheaper option. You know, it's less material. You just put ice and water, and then you buy the rolls of $100, and however much you need, you just roll it down, and you know, that's that option. And then the rubber roofs they last almost 30 years versus the asphalt, because the asphalt, I think the lifetime of an asphalt roll roof is about 13 to 15 if you're lucky, versus, you know, spending a little more and getting 30 years. Yeah.
What about, like, is there something to do with the levelness? Like, if it's a flat roof, you use rubber, you don't use shingles,
Definitely,
right?
yeah. No, if their roof doesn't have a lot of pitch, and a lot of times some houses have a dormer where it's a little in the back. There's always like maybe a dormer depending on how the house is. If the slope is not like ideal for shingles, it's best to use a rubber roof, which is what I always offer. Or if they don't want to spend the extra for the rubber roof, we can always just, the most important with flatter roofs with shingles is to ice and water the whole area.
And tell the folks at home what ice and water is.
Ice and water barrier is a thicker membrane that would go down into the sheathing versus felt paper, which is it's less breathable, but it's more effective against ice dams that kind of, when snow melts, it accumulates near the gutters. You always put 3 feet of ice and water before doing the rest of the house with felt paper, so the ice can never penetrate through those vulnerable areas.
Got it.
Also with slopes like valleys, that gets ice and water, where the water can kind of pool and slope down. That's always,
So it's a waterproofer.
yes, pretty much is a waterproofer, yes.
Kind of like a thick, rubberish, vinylish that you put down,
Yes.
and then you put whatever else over that, and it's just kind of your vapor barrier.
And the reason why not everyone just ice and waters the whole house is because it's very thick and it suffocates shingles. So that's why you only use 3 feet or 6 feet the most, and then the rest we use like a synthetic felt paper. You know, other people, old school roofers use tar paper. You know, it's cheap stuff. But you know, my company, we like to buy the synthetic felt, which is, you know, more breathable for the wood, and it's awesome against waterproofing the sheathing. So like, you know, if you ever see a new construction, people hold off on the roof, they just put the synthetic felt paper, and that can stay like that for like weeks without water coming in. Yeah. And so what I was saying is, if you use too much ice and water, you will suffocate the shingles. The shingles need to kind of have like some kind of, it's weird to say, but it needs to have a little bit of airflow. And if you have too much ice and water, the shingles in the sun, your roof won't last the 30 years that it's supposed to. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's good info. How about this? What's something, like, you've been doing this 6 years now, right, with your dad? What's something, if you could take what you've learned over these 6 years and start over again, what would you do differently, if anything?
In which way? In my business?
In any way, maybe you did something or learned something that you're like, oh shit, I wish I knew this when I started. Maybe a bunch of things.
Yeah, that could be a bunch of things. You know, what I've learned most over the 6 years is customer service is important.
Yeah.
If you don't call back somebody or you don't answer quick enough, you could lose a big job.
Mm-hmm.
It takes like, that's all it takes. When I first got started, I've lost customers because I didn't respond in email quick enough. Like, hey, you didn't answer me back, so I went with another roofer. And that's because I was busy doing something else. But that's why in this business, being the owner, I'm on my phone all the time. I'm on my phone at home. I'm sending proposals. Owning a construction company is legit a full-time commitment and job. And I'm sure you're just the same as a property manager. You're always answering phone calls, always, even late night. It's a crazy job, but somebody has to do it, and I don't think I could ever go back to doing anything else.
What were you doing before you started this?
I had a bunch of jobs. I was working in my first job was working at Papagino's, and then I became a CNA for a little while. I was working in nursing homes.
Wow.
And before I bought my house, I was doing 7 to 3 roofing, and then 3 to 11 nursing.
Really?
So I was killing myself just to buy my first house. And then after I got my house, I got out of that.
And tell the folks at home, because this is what I love about you, what kind of house you bought.
I bought a multifamily.
So you bought a multi, and it was in the first floor,
I
right?
live on the first floor, yeah.
And you rent out the other 2?
Yep.
And that pays for most of your expenses.
It pays for everything, yeah. It pays for the mortgage, a little bit of the bills, and I'm saving up to buy another one soon.
So that's not why you're here, but that shows, and we talk about it all the time, that you need to start with an investment. You can't jump into that single family home. No matter how much money you're making, it's just a safer bet to buy the multi, and then maybe down the road, like you're talking about, you do the single.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to bring that up, but take me back to Papagino's. What was that like? Is that the one in was it Seekonk on the?
No, and I'm not sure if you know Warren, Bristol area. I used to work right off Medicom. Yeah. That was like my first job in high school. I was grilling steak and cheese sandwiches and meatball subs.
Would they feed you though?
Yeah, for a discount. You had to pay half, pretty much.
Okay.
But that was food service. It's not fun. That's what I remember for sure. Eating food is not fun.
But didn't that kind of prep you customer service wise, and also CNA? You're working with people's health. Like
all that.
Did those 2 jobs really kind of propel you and able to handle all types of people?
It's taught me how to, pretty much talk to customers, be respectful. Like they always say, the customer is always right, but it's to avoid problems. You really have to kind of go with that motto. I mean, it's not always correct, but if the customer wants this gutter lined up or something, you can't. And I know I didn't do it. I have to do it. It's my application. I'm already there with my tools. I'll fix it for you, just to make the customer a little happy. Like, hey, this guy went a little far.
Yeah.
And he's great. And that's how a lot of my referrals happen. People say that I went a little extra to complete the job. Mm-hmm.
Well, how about this? How about what's one of the most memorable jobs that you've ever done that was a total nightmare, total shit show? Maybe the customer was an asshole, or the job just, the weather wasn't in your favor.
Yeah. It was actually about 2 years ago. I never done, you know what a mansard is? It's like a square building. It's like very old school colonial kind of. It's where the house has
chimneys.
Not chimneys, it's got like faces that go around the whole thing, and it's not easy to walk, and it's very hard. I had to rent actually a boom lift to be able to work on it.
Wow.
So I thought it'd be a lot easier with the boom lift, but it ended up being very complicated, very expensive. I ended up being like a whole week at the site working. I rented the boom lift for a week, and it was just very expensive, very complicated. My crew was very overworked.
Yeah.
And, I ended up not earning a lot of profit that job, but I didn't care about that. I just needed to complete it.
Yep.
Because that's what I'd rather have it done instead of, having a pissed off customer and not, So that was probably the worst roof I ever did because I had no experience in doing a that's what they call mansard. They're just they're square buildings with roofs with shingles that go around the whole face.
Visually, I'm thinking of something like really old looking that's kind of
No, it's all square, and then it has a hip and ridge roof up top. But the faces is where the work is complicated because you're literally they're usually 3 stories high, the houses, so you're literally working like on a wall with no space to walk, and it's just that's why you rent a boom lift to
stay secure,
to keep you moving from side to side. And I ended up pretty much underquoting it, I think.
Got it.
Now next time if I ever do a mansard, I know how much to quote it.
Beware if you have this kind of roof.
And that's I remember you wanted me to quote a job in New Bedford, and I told you how much it was, and you were like, wow.
That was Woonsocket.
That was Woonsocket for one of your customers.
Blackstone Street, I think it was. That, it's like a spiral.
Yeah, it had a cone, and it also had the walls, and that's what a mansard is now.
Okay.
Now you know what it looks like. Yeah, now you can remember.
Because I remember, you give me prices on regular, single family roofs, and they're reasonable, and then you gave me that quote. I think it was like 25, 30 G's.
Yeah.
But now that I know, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's just the height and the faces are just not easy to work.
And I ain't gonna do it.
That's true. Yeah.
So, interesting. How about what's your favorite kind of job? Is it like the day job? You go in, you bang it out. How many guys do you bring to work with you for the day?
Yeah, those are probably my favorite kind of roofs. Is just to come in, start 7 a.m. sharp, get it done, go home by 6. Customers happy, and and then I like doing a lot of rubber roofs because those are always like interesting. They're easy to walk on, but it's a big process, and you truly don't know what you find when you strip it. Sometimes you overlay it a lot, but in your case, I'm pretty sure we stripped all that 2 to 3 layers of your property. So that was a project that got very muddy.
It did.
Yeah, I think you had a roll roof, and then you had a tar roof, and that was a very messy job. Yeah, dirty job. Yeah,
dirty job is right. And what I liked is that you had your own debris trailer, so you didn't, have this huge dumpster dropped off in the yard, leave it there for 2 weeks. Like you brought it, hooked up to your truck. I remember, fill it up, you take it.
You want to know the difference with having your own trailer versus renting? The difference is I'm going to say what the pros are. You have your own dumpster, you load it up, you go home with it.
Yep.
The customer's happy. They don't have a big bulky dumpster sitting in their driveway.
Ruining the driveway.
It could ruin the driveway.
Or the grass or whatever.
Yeah. And the cons with having dumpsters and hiring dumpster companies is, one, they charge you a premium, $350 for 1 ton, and then $100 a ton more. So a ton at a dump is usually $100. So I know that they're making $200 for the rental, which of course, they're renting it, they gotta make money.
Yeah.
But then they charge you $100 a ton more after. And then what I hate about the most is that they let it sit sometimes.
Yes.
And then the rain gets on it and it gets a little heavier, and that's how they take advantage of emptying it. They make a little more money. But that's the cons. And then of course it sits. Sometimes they don't pick it up for more than 2 days, and the customer's like, "When are you gonna get this out of here?" And it's out of my hands. It's on the dumpster company. But that's why me and my dad have our own dumpster to
keep
take
it
home.
clean, and it also reduces the cost of the customer. I bet.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because you have it in your stock and you're not subbing it out to a dumpster company.
Exactly, and that's why I prefer to do it like that. When my dumpster I had a 17-year-old dumpster break down, and I was kind of in a pickle. I had to rent a couple dumpsters, and that was not fun.
Pain in the ass. So you have the trailer.
Yeah, we bought a brand new 2018 dumpster, and it's
mint.
It's mint, and it's doing its job.
Cool.
Yep.
We got one too. We do a lot of apartments, as you all know, and we'll bring that to a site. We'll empty a whole apartment in there, strap it down, take it to the dump. And before we were calling Patriot, and they'll bring it in a week. They'll charge us $600, and then it's like then we gotta go back and it was just a pain in the ass.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you as a consumer should appreciate and understand that Sebastian, he's invested in his equipment, his vehicles, all of these things that are making the service better to you and the price better. So just wanted to point that out. Now, before we wrap up here, is there anything that you want to tell the audience, anything that, your wisdom of roofing, if you could take something out of your brain and give it to them, sitting under their roofs, what would it be?
Always hire a professional. Don't ever climb a roof if you don't know exactly what you're doing, because just two-story building could end your life. One fall from a two-story building could end your life, or it's a very dangerous job, and it's always good just to hire a professional that knows how to climb roofs and can take care of the job for you better than hiring somebody that says they can and potentially falling and hurting himself, and it's just a dangerous job overall.
True, I didn't think of that. Just going up to the roof is a risk in itself.
Yeah. Saying, my husband will go fix it. Would you rather hire someone that will fix it, or potentially your husband getting hurt and possibly dying?
If the folks at home have any questions or want to reach out to you, maybe get a quote on their house, how would you like them to contact you?
Oh yeah, you can reach me through our website. You can always put a quote if you don't want to feel like calling me. You can always go put a quote entry through the website, or call me anytime. The number is it's on my business card always,
Awesome.
And you can always reach me through there.
Cool. So you're saying, look at this guy. Do you need a new roof? He heard us talking. He lives up there. So you're saying folks can go on the website and tell you about their property, and you can give them an estimate?
Yeah. Everything through email, and we're on Google. You can Google us, Nadales Roofing. Yeah.
Cool.
We're very easy to access.
And I have to say, I've used them many times. 5 stars.
Thank you.
100%. So
Great.
Sebastian, again, thank you. And thank you all for tuning in. Thank your father, too.
Absolutely, thank you.
And you're carrying on tradition. So once again, we're here at Nexus headquarters with Sebastian Nadales of Nadales Roofing. Your property managed.